So now we're getting into the framework, which is like my kind of script. So I hate the word script because when we're talking about a script, you kind of think of something like an actor reads when they're at a table read and they're reading it. And actors are really good about like fluctuating their voice and making it sound like they're really saying it because that's their job. But even at sales pros that are experienced, sometimes they struggle with that. And so what I tell people is rather than creating a script, you want to have like a framework, which is like the basic outline of your conversations, the basic outline of like different things that you say at different parts, how you adjust the things, how you make adjustments, like what your goals are. And you have this framework that kind of provides you with one of my favorite things, which is structured flexibility. You want to have the flexibility because conversations are going to be different, but you want to have the structure so that as long as you're on the phone with them and you're still following your process, you're going to get to the end where you push for the appointment. So basically, it's just saying that a lot of times people go with scripts. They just hand someone a sheet of paper, the person reads it, they sound like a robot, it doesn't work, and then they're handcuffed by that script because they're afraid to use different words, or if they do use different words, it's not really being efficient because they're not achieving their goal. So rather than focusing on specific phrasing at specific times, kind of focus on the steps that we need to go through to get them to the end of the process. So here are the 6 parts of the framework: diffusion, introduction, why are you calling, the transition, confirm qualifications, and what you want, aka the close. So probably the most important one is the first one, which is diffusion, which is funny because it's probably the easiest, but it's also the one that most people kind of screw the pooch on, which is they say something like immediately, they give a bad first impression, the person wants to get off the phone, they hang up right away. They're just because you did it in a way or you gave them an out, and because you gave them an out, they're able to get off the phone. So let's talk about diffusion. Diffusion is how do you get past the first 5 seconds and get them to agree to the conversation. So here are diffusers. The best are up at the top, and diffusers how we interrupt them and ask for their time. When we're calling them, when we're calling a lead, I don't care if they filled out a form 10 seconds ago, when we're calling them, we're still interrupting them. They could have been on their way to the bathroom. They could have been like on the next thing on TikTok or the next Facebook post or watching a video on YouTube. When we call them, we are interrupting them. So this, like, understand that we're interrupting them. We're a salesperson. They don't want to talk to us. They shouldn't want to talk to us. I wouldn't want to talk to us, but at the same time, it can be beneficial for them to talk to us. So understand that we're interrupting them. And so once again, we're respecting their time, we're interrupting them, but we're trying to like make sure that we're being clear that we're not going to take up a lot of it. We're just trying to help and get them to where they want as quickly and as easily as possible. So some of the best diffusers, have I caught you in the middle of anything? I'm guessing that I caught you at a bad time. So those are kind of 2 ones that are similar. They take some practice. Like I'm not even the best at doing them, to be honest, but I have tested them and they work well for me. And so what we think is okay, what we're doing is we're telling them that we're respecting their time, but we're assuming that they're busy, or we're assuming that they are already doing something that we're bothering. And so when we do it that way, it's like we're assuming respect, or they can feel that we're assuming their respect and we're being extra respectful. And because of that, it's easy for them to answer. And the other thing about these 2 is we want them to say no. So have I caught you in the middle of anything? No, why? What is this about? I'm guessing that I caught you at a bad time. No, it's an okay time. Well, like I got a couple minutes. So the idea is that we're pushing them towards no, because when someone answers the phone and they sense that it's anyone that's not a friend or a family member, which they will if they don't have our number saved, their instinct is going to be say no, figure out a way to get out of it. So when we ask questions in that format, when we ask questions where we're actually shooting for a no, it kind of just like slows them down for a half a second, and it gives us those valuable seconds where we can kind of push through and get to the part of the conversation that we want to have. Did I reach you at an okay time? So I haven't actually tested this one, but when I was doing research last night, an article that I saw had this one rated as like the best one that they actually did a study and that had the best results. I like it. A couple things I noticed is they're using the word reach instead of caught. So like reach, did I reach you at an okay time? And then okay time being like, yeah, is this an okay time? We're respecting your time. We're not assuming that it's bad. We're not assuming it's good. We're just saying, hey, is this an okay time? And then they're probably going to think to themselves, an okay time for what? But at the same time, they're thinking, okay, okay time for what? It means that they're continuing the conversation. They haven't hung up on us yet. So those are some of my favorite diffusers. A good diffuser is, did I catch you at a bad time? So this is a good diffuser because it is shooting for the no, where did I catch you at a bad time? No, what's up? Did I catch you at a bad time? If someone wants to get off a call and they get a question like that, did I catch you at a bad time? Yes. Yes, I'm at the store, and like they have to kind of lie to themselves, because if it wasn't a bad time, they probably, if it was a bad time, they wouldn't have answered the phone, most likely. So just know that like that's an okay one. The only reason I say it's okay and not great is because it's kind of ordinary. And ordinary means maybe they've heard it before. Maybe some people fill out way too many forms and they have conversations with way too many salespeople. And so we want to respect their time, but we also want to do something that they're not like wired to respond to. Some bad ones: is now a good time, and do you have a few minutes? So those two are bad because it's so easy for them to say no. Is now a good time? No, it's not. Call me back later. Boom. Hang up. Do you have a few minutes? No, I really don't. I gotta go. Bye. Like that's their instinct, and we're playing into their instinct. We're making it easier for them to say no. We don't want them to say no with those questions. So rather, we should ask questions in a way where we're shooting for the no, and it just kind of it works a little bit more effectively. Please don't. Worst one: how are you? If you're saying, hey, Sharon, how are you doing today? It's awful. They're wondering, who the heck is this person? Why are they asking me, how are they? You're not their friend. Stop pretending to be their friend. At this point in the conversation, at least, and at the same time, we're also, how are you? That's a very complicated question that can have a very large range of answers. And we're like immediately handing over control to them based on that. So it's easy for them to say no to, and it's also easy for them to take that in a direction that we don't want to go. All right, so intro, keep it brief. So next part, after we diffuse the situation, we say, hey, is now a bad time? They're like, no, it's okay, what's up? Then we introduce ourselves. Super simple, keep it brief. This is Kyle with the Solar Saver program. That's all I really want to do. I don't like last names. When we're using our company name, if you know it, you should always use the page name or the company name or the brand name from the funnel and the survey that they went through, just because that's what they are going to remember if they remember it. If it's in the first few days, they probably will. If it's anytime after that, they probably won't. It probably won't matter as much. But the idea is that is what's going to refresh their mind. And it's like the first reminder that, hey, I'm calling you because you did this. This is your fault. And when we do it that way, it's just going to give them a little bit more of a, oh, okay, yeah, I remember now. Always state the name. Once again, always state the page/name associated with the form that they filled out. So I said Solar Saver program because our company, TwineSpot, our leads go through a page called the Solar Saver program. And if we say that, they should remember, they should know that you're calling because they filled out that 18 question, 20 question form. But as I mentioned before, just because they filled that out doesn't mean that they'll be happy. It doesn't mean that they might not even remember it. It just means that you have a better chance that they're going to recognize you on the spot. So step 3, why are you calling? So remember, biggest thing I think a lot of inexperienced sales reps or sales professionals do when they call a lead is they want to call and they want to tell the lead about their product. They want to tell the lead about their program. They want to tell the lead about what they have to sell and why it's the coolest thing since sliced bread. So when I was in fitness, I struggled with this a lot because I went to fitness, like I was a personal trainer and a fitness manager straight out of college where I got a degree in exercise physiology. If you want to know how to not sell personal training, explain to your client exercise physiology. For the most part, they don't care. They don't care about the science. Like they might respect you and be happy that you know it, but if you are talking to them about it, best case scenario, it's over their head, but they don't care. Worst case scenario, it's just boring them to death and making them less likely to even want to talk to you. And so with solar, we don't want to talk about the panels. We don't want to talk about the equipment. We don't want to talk about even necessarily like the process or like the industry. What we want to talk about is we want to talk about what they care about. They care about either saving money, or they care about getting independence from the utility company, or fighting against inflation. Like whatever the reason is that they're looking at solar, that is what we have to talk about. So when we do that, that is the reason why we're calling. Because if we don't, if we're just, my name's Kyle with the Solar Saver program, I'm calling because you're interested in solar panels, that call is going to end badly. It's going to end very badly because they don't care about solar panels. Now you're a telemarketer. You're not helping them in any way. You're not presenting yourself as being able to help them in any way. And you're just really setting yourself up for a very rough time. Because let's be honest, like I'm in the solar industry. I'm probably like in these groups as much as almost anybody. I don't like talking about solar. Like if someone called me casually, want to talk about just about solar panels, I really wouldn't be that interested. I have to like apply myself to get interest in those things. And we can't expect our homeowners to be either. So focus on what they care about, and that is the reason that we're calling. So uh, just another reminder, your why is not the product or program. Your why is either the benefit they are seeking or the pain that you're solving. This, you can kind of tie it more directly into the specific hook that they responded to. If they responded to an ad about fighting against inflation, we can assume that they're maybe slightly above average as far as the reason that they're looking into it is that they're concerned about inflation. So just know that we can get more specific, but it's also relatively easy for us to kind of ask one or two questions and kind of figure out what the real interest is and then focus on that. But the biggest thing is their why is always going to be the benefit or the pain that they're solving. Their why is not the product. At least, okay, I don't want to say not the product, but like 1 out of 500 maybe are actually going to be really interested in like the way that panels work and what they're made out of and the different brands and the differences. But the majority of people, they're filling out our form because they want to know what solar can do for them. So when we're talking about our why, another thing too, like I have a little tip right down here. Always remind them that they initiated the interaction. So this is our portion where we want to remind them, because while we have gotten a few seconds of their time, we haven't gotten to our purpose, which is getting them to answer a few more questions for us. And then once they've answered those questions, getting them to agree to sit down with us. And because we haven't done that, we still have to remind them, like, hey, you did, like, this is what you want. You want to save money, and I'm just trying to, I'm the person that's going to help you to get there. And so we have to always remind them. So like the first one, it says, I'm getting back to you. Like that's one that I love to use because it's like, hey, yeah, this is Kyle, I'm getting back to you. The other thing that sometimes happens is they're like thinking to themselves, like, Kyle, like getting back to me, what is this about? And they're kind of like searching their brain. As long as they're searching their brain, they're kind of like trying to, like, they don't want to be disrespectful to us, and then they're going to realize, oh yeah, it's that solar guy. And so as long as they're doing that, we're just on the phone with them longer, we're more likely to be able to continue the conversation. So I'm getting back to you, and then also I am following up. So I'm just following up. This is Kyle just following up as promised. So, okay, oh yeah, he promised this to me. When did I speak with him? What's this about? What did I fill? Oh, it's a form I filled out. So just know that this is an opportunity for us to like easily like kind of remind them that we're only doing this because they opted in. And so it's just a way to kind of bring their guard down a little bit. So first one, just an example. I'm just getting back to you because you filled out a form and I wanted to help to see what the potential savings looks like for your home. So side note is as I've already talked about, I don't like scripts. Like I don't go word by word for almost anything. So even though these are examples, most of the time it's like I have these in these processes, but I just kind of do it more casually, and probably, to be honest, I probably stumble a little bit more through it, but it just kind of comes off as naturally for me. So just know that you have like this, you don't have to necessarily read it exactly. You just got to remember the idea. So the idea is I'm getting back to you because I just want to see I want to help you see what the savings looks like. Like you can add words, you can make it a little bit different, but that's kind of the gist of that first one. And the second one is I'm following up because I wanted to find out if you could, or because I'm following up because you wanted to find out if you could lower the amount of money that you were spending on electricity to utility company. So that one is a little bit more of a mouthful, but same thing is just, yeah, I'm just calling because I know you wanted to find out if there was any possibility that you'd be able to lower your monthly bill with PG&E, and I just have a couple quick questions to kind of get through to see if you are going to qualify for that program that you were reading about. And so if we did it like that, then it's just, I mean, it's still natural, but the idea is that we have the idea, the structure, and we're able to kind of make it a little bit feel more natural. If you are someone that likes a script, you can take these, you could make them into your own voice and write them out directly, and you can definitely do that. But just know, like, just because I have it written here, it's not the exact words that I use. It's more just the idea of the conversation. So once we've done that, now we have diffused the situation. We've gotten past that awkward first 4 seconds. We have introduced ourselves very briefly, and now we have told them why we are calling. So we're calling because you told us that you're interested in saving money, and I'm going to help you do that and figure out if you even qualify for this savings program that you were looking at. So next is the transition. So we have to get to a point where we're asking them questions. And so the transition is really, 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 really easy. All we do at this point is we just make sure the first question that we ask is an easy question for them to answer. And bonus points if the question we ask is really focused on the pain slash benefits. So what they're interested in, or at least the question is framed to figure out what they're interested in. So one thing I do want to say, the transition to get to questions is not, do you have time to answer a few questions? Don't ask that. If you ask them for time to answer a few questions, we're giving them a second opportunity to hang up, to get out of the call, to say that they're busy, and we don't need that. No one wants to answer questions. That doesn't sound fun. It does, like, is it a game show? Is it a quiz? No? Okay, I don't want to answer questions. And so we don't give them that opportunity. If they're on the phone with you, they've already filled out a form that's at least 6 questions, I hope. Sometimes it's a form that's 18 questions or 20 questions. They've already gone through that process. They've answered the phone call. You've given them diffusion. You've given them a little introduction, and you've told them why you're calling, and they're still on the phone with you. We're going to assume that they have a couple minutes to answer a few questions. So don't ask them for permission there, because you're just giving them a second easy out to get off the phone call. So the transition, going back to what we just said, remember, it's just an easy question focused on the pain that we're solving or the benefits that they're chasing. So what about solar caught your attention? Are you more interested in the savings or the independence aspect? And so this question is designed to kind of just find out what they care about, right? Because then the rest of the appointment setting conversation and the rest of the sales call and the rest of the appointment, the presentation is going to be all around what exactly they are looking at solar for. What's the reason they're doing that? Because they want to see if they can save 30 to 40 bucks more a month because they're sick of their bills going up. Great. We take note of that. We put it down in our notes. And now the rest of our conversation, that is what we're able to kind of point back to when we're pushing them towards that next step. So for example, when we're going for the appointment, I know that you're really interested in saving $30 to $40 a month, like you mentioned earlier, and based on the information you've given me, it looks like you're definitely going to be in a position to make that happen. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pass your info along and schedule a time with our specialists. They're going to be able to kind of just show up and just sit and chat and kind of walk you through and answer any questions that you may have and give you the information that you need. Does that sound fair? And so that was not a great one. I apologize. It's almost midnight, and I've been up since 4. But that was just an example of one. The idea is that whatever the question that we're asking here is designed to figure out what they care about. Why are they going solar? It's easy for us to assume that they want savings, but a lot of people want the independence. A lot of people are focused on they want to go off the grid. Some people I should say, are concerned with the environment, or at least concerned with making people think that they're concerned about the environment. And whatever the reason is that they give, we really got to kind of listen and figure out, okay, what is driving them? Why did they fill out this form? What about solar interests them, and what are they most excited about discovering? And once we do that, that is the powerful thing that we're always able to point back to. You want to see if you can save 30 to 40 bucks a month. I'm very certain that you can. I want to show you the exact numbers and see if it's even possible we can even save you more. So in order to do that, we have to do this. Another example of a first question, I know PG&E is raising the rates like crazy right now, and a lot of people are looking into solar for the first time. Is that the reason that you're looking into it, or is it something that you've looked at before? And so with that one, it's a leading question as far as are you interested in savings? That's one of the few questions where it's really good to do a direct leading question, because for the most part, most people are interested in savings. But what the second part is very important as well. We're asking them, have you looked into solar before? So most people are going to say no. Some people are going to say yes. When someone says yes, that opens us the door to figure out, why did they not move forward with solar before? Was it a sketchy salesperson? Was it a company they didn't trust? Was there not really enough savings on the front end? Was there not enough savings in the long end? Did they not really believe in the technology at the time? Whatever the reason was that they stopped from going solar before, you can use that, and you have to figure out how to overcome it this time so that they're able to make the switch now. So that second part of the question is a great way, if you can get to that point where you're asking, hey, have you ever looked into solar before, or what's the reason that you're looking at solar now? And once we get that, we get more information that's going to once again help us not necessarily get the qualification questions, but it's going to help us to push for the appointment. It's going to help us to push for the close when we get to the sales presentation. All right. So We just did the transition, just asking that first easy question. Then we have to confirm our qualifications. So asking qualification questions is a lot of times we kind of like simplify it more than we need to. We just kind of get someone on the phone and like, great, are you are you, and just to verify, are you a homeowner? Yes. Okay. Is your electric bill 200 to $250 a month? Great. Is your credit score 650 to 775? Awesome. And we like kind of read through the survey like a robot in a way. Like we're asking them the exact same question that they just answered, and that is awful. Like the customer does not like that. They're thinking to themselves like, what was the point of me filling out the form? Like, why am I on this call right now? It doesn't seem like it's not providing me with any value. It's not helping me understand anything. This person is just confirming my answers. So what we want to do is we want to confirm. Number one, we want to make it easy for them to answer. And then we also want to confirm in ways that are slightly different than the way that we asked initially. And we'll show you what that means. So step one, we want to make it easy to answer. Use confirming yes, no questions, and use either or questions. So, and as like, for example, if they said on the form, they said their company's APS, we could say, oh, great. And based on your answer, like it said you mentioned that your company is APS. Is that correct? And so that's just one way that we can easily confirm it. And then we can also use either or questions. Do you believe that your credit score is above 650 or below 650? That's a question I actually typically use when I didn't ask about credit on the survey, and I get them on the form, and it's like, great, one of the things I have to check for you is your credit. Is your credit below 650 or above 650? It's above 650. Okay, what do you think your credit is? And then getting more details on that. So using either or questions is a great way to steer the conversation. And it's one of the best ways that you can maintain control. And like we mentioned in the commandments, that's probably one of the most important things is to maintain control. When we use either or questions, it's like a choose your own adventure story in a way. Like we're giving them these options, but we're ready no matter what option they choose. And that's the value and the importance of that. All right, so this is what I was talking about. Avoid asking questions that our form already asked. So your job is to confirm that the lead is not going to be a disqualification. Your job is not to confirm that it's a perfect lead. There's no such thing as a perfect lead. If you look for something wrong or something that's less than ideal about this customer, you'll find it. So your job is to verify that they are not going to be an automatic disqualification. Your job is to verify that if someone shows up to an appointment, they're not going to be wasting their time because the person doesn't own the home, or they're not going to be wasting the time because the person doesn't even have a high enough credit score. So your job is to qualify the most important factors, the factors that if the customer gave you the wrong information, it would make them an automatic disqualification right on the spot. So most important ones: home ownership, credit score, electric bill, and shading. So the two things we want to confirm, only the most important ones. At least if our form is really, really long, we don't want to confirm everything. That's just a waste of time, and it's going to make the customer less likely to build any rapport with us. And then secondly, we want to phrase it in ways that we can ask the same question or confirm the question, but also get more information by asking it in a different way. So here is that. When we're asking for a second time, we want to change it up. Home ownership, like looking at your street view on Google, I mean, it looks like a beautiful home. Like how long have you owned it? When, or I guess the better question is, when did you buy it? Like, when did you buy it? How long have you owned it? We're asking them a question that requires them to answer, but by answering, they are going to tell us like, yes, I'm an owner. We've owned it since we bought it in 2016. And you're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I know the market's been crushing it, so you must be stoked about that. And then we move on to the next question. But that's the idea, is that we're finding a way to confirm that they're a homeowner, but we're not asking them, are you a homeowner? Great. You said your credit score was in like the 670 to 700 range. That's perfect. That means like when you're in that range, you're probably going to qualify for the majority of options that we have. Just curious though, when was the last time that you checked that? And so once again, we're getting more clarification on the answer to the question. Just because they said it was 670 to 700. Oh, I haven't checked it in 3 years. Oh, okay. Well, that's not a problem. That's just, I just want to take note of that, and I appreciate you sharing that with me or whatever. Or you can easily do that here. Like, we could do that right now if that's something you want to do. But regardless, we're asking them in a different way, and then they're going to give us context about how likely their answer is to be correct. And then from that, we're able to pursue differently based on their response. But we're not asking them, what is your credit score? Because we already asked that. Electric bill and utility. You listed here that your bill is on average $200 a month. One of the things that I want to do is I'm trying to get a clear picture of what your usage looks like throughout the year. Because one of the things that we do is we compare like your sunlight exposure to your energy usage month over month, because then we're going to be able to give you the most accurate estimates on how much money you can save. So you say your average bill is about $200 a month. What would you say your highest bill of the year is, and what month is that typically in? And so we're confirming that their average monthly bill is $200, but we're getting a more clear picture about kind of what their chart probably is going to look like, how their usage is spread out. But we're also giving them the information about why we're asking that question. Shading. Looking at your house on Google Maps, I see that there's like this tree right here in like the front left of the house. Is that the tree that you were kind of thinking of when you said that you have a little bit of shading issues, or is there something else? So confirming their answer to the question, but asking for clarification. We're expanding on it. We're showing them that we're definitely looking at the information they've already provided us, but we just want to confirm and get a complete picture so we can move them forward into the process. But that's like having that understanding that appointment setting is not just, do you own your home? How much do you pay a month on electricity? What's your credit score? Okay, great. We're going to go ahead and we're going to transfer you. Like, that is not what appointment setting is about. Appointment setting is a sales skill. Appointment setting is not an admin task. It's not a task that anyone can necessarily do effectively. It's something that you have to practice. It's something that requires you to overcome objections. It's something that requires you to think on your feet. It's something that requires you to get creative, to push for the close, to move forward. And the better we are at handling those aspects, the better we're going to be at having success with appointments. So just know we want to be able to confirm qualifying questions. And when you get really good, you're able to do this kind of on the spot without even really thinking about it. But those are just examples so that you can kind of think about and kind of start to work on, okay, like how can I do that? How can I ask the question? How can I ask the most important questions, but not asking it in a way that's making them think, oh, I thought you already asked me this. All right, so now the most important part, the close. So the close with the appointment, once again, this is a sales skill. Closing the appointment is just like any other close. You have to kind of walk through the process. You're going to have to put their mind at ease, and you're going to do that. And then once you have that, you're going to typically, like one of my favorites is assuming the close and then pushing for that next step. So 5 steps for the close is great news, connecting the appointment to the value. So before we tell them the appointment, we have to make sure that we're tying it into what they care about, removing the commitment, keeping it casual, and assuming the close. So this kind of like close isn't like, it's not necessarily something that everyone's going to use. Like, this is what I have found to be successful in the past. It's more about the framework and kind of the structure of it. But the idea is that after you've done all those previous steps, you have to go in for your close. So whatever your close is, that is what you want to map out. That is what you kind of want to prepare for. So I'm just going to walk you through how mine works. So basically, first step is like, okay, great, congrats. Like, based on your answers, you look like you're going to be in great shape to, at minimum, save money in the long term, and most likely you're going to save quite a bit of money in the short term as well. I'm excited for you. I think you're going to really like the information that we have for you, basically. And so we're congratulating them on like qualifying, because that's been our pitch so far, is we want to make sure that you qualify before we waste any of your time. And now it's great, like, you qualify, congratulations. Now we can kind of go into the details and give you that information that you really want, that's going to make it easy for you to make the right decision. After we congratulate them, we have to kind of move towards the next step. So we tell them the next step is to schedule time where I can kind of stop by and give you a personalized savings estimate, a personalized savings report, give you a walkthrough of how the solar savings for your home in both the short term and the long term. You could say, I'm going to stop by and give you the solar versus inflation report, the solar versus inflation presentation. That's going to give you kind of an exact map as far as where the savings is going to be and where you're going to find it. Like, you can phrase it any way that you want, but you have to kind of get them to the appointment. So whatever it is that you're calling it, you say the next step is we got to schedule time so we can do that. One of the things that we do, as soon as we talk about this, they're going to like tense up, right? So they don't want appointments. They are on the phone with us and they're thinking, how am I still on the phone with this guy? Most likely. And so we want to, once we bring it up, the first step we want to do is we want to try to like lower the stress level that's involved with that. So the thing that we do is we want to establish like appointment doesn't equal a commitment. So what we're talking about is we're talking about appointment doesn't equal a commitment as far as moving forward with solar, but really, appointment is a commitment to an appointment. We just don't want to like necessarily frame it that way. So we're saying, I know that appointment doesn't really sound all that fun. I just want to show you that the appointment does not equal a commitment. And then we move straight into the next part, which is making sure that they understand it's casual. This is kind of my process, because when I have sold solar in the past, the biggest thing is like solar is a no-brainer for most people, and so you are able to approach it as kind of like this is going to be a no-brainer. Like, I'm excited to show it to you because my goal is to educate you, and then you're going to be able to make you're going to be able to easily make the right decision, and you're going to feel like oh, that makes so much sense. Why didn't I do that? So once again, we established it doesn't equal commitment. So, and then we just move right into casual. So just putting together, like, I know that an appointment doesn't sound all that fun. I want to make sure that you know that like an appointment doesn't equal any commitment. I do everything I can to keep it casual, to keep it fun. We're just going to sit, talk, and share through like the different options and provide you with the savings and stability. They're the different options that are going to provide you with the savings and stability that you are looking for, so that you can save $30 to $40 a month in the short term, as well as hopefully tens of thousands of dollars in the long term. And so that shows you how, as soon as we bring up the appointment, we have to establish that like an appointment's not a big scary thing. And then secondly, we're like, this is casual. Like I just want to sit and talk and kind of give you the information that you need, walk you through the options, and then help you to make the right decision. And then we have to assume the close. So going back, like if we went back just a little bit, I just want to provide you with the savings and stability that you're looking for. And the ultimate goal is we're just going to walk through it and see if it makes sense for you. So what time of day are you typically more available? Are you more available in the evenings or the afternoons? So using an either or question, afternoons, evenings, and neither of those really work great for me. Like getting them, once they respond to that, if they don't object to that, then we're going to be able to get them on the schedule. So make it easy for them to say, oh, evenings work best. Great. I can do like 6 p.m. tomorrow, or I can do Friday at 5:30. Do either of those work for you? And then once again, we're just using either or questions to kind of nail them down to a specific time. But the idea is that we congratulate them. We tell them what the next step is. We kind of step back on that next step and try to remove the commitment and the stress. We emphasize that it's going to be casual. We're just going to help them. We're going to educate them. We're not going to put them in any particular. Like, our goal is just to help them through the process, right? And then after we've done that, we've told them what the next step is. We've lowered the kind of the bar, the threshold. We made it less scary. Then we assume the close and get it on the books. So that is how we go for the close, at least with this outline that I have done. That's the idea, is that after we've done, if we follow those 6 steps in the appointment setting process, we're going to have a lot more success. We're not going to have customers that are saying, hey, I know, yeah, we're not going to say, hey, I know you're interested in solar. What questions do you have? That is a can of worms. You don't want to answer what questions the customer has on an appointment setting call. We're not going to allow them to, we're not going to say, how was your day? And they're going to say, oh, it's awful. I like work, blah, 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 blah. And now I got people talking to me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, we're not going to let them get worked up. We're controlling the conversation. We can go through everything that we just did, and you can sometimes do it in like 5 or 10 minutes, like less than that. We're being efficient, and like that's something that we can also reiterate. Like, I want to respect your time. Like, I'm just trying to get through this, because the goal of this call is to find out if you're even in a position where it's worth your time to talk about it. And then once they've done that, it's great. Like, your position, like based on the info you've given me, you're in a great position. Like, I'm excited to walk you through this. Boom, we're booking the appointment. So just know, whatever your close is, whatever your framework is, I recommend kind of getting that in line. But the biggest thing is, we don't want to overthink it. We got to make the appointment easy. We got to lower the stress. We don't want it to be scary for the homeowner. So whatever we can do for that is going to lead us to more success. So solar is a no-brainer. So your lead should be too. My company, TwineSpot, that's what we believe in. We make it so that anyone can get quality leads for, like, you can quality lead later today, and you can get started for less than $500. Or not less than $500. You can get started for $500. That's the minimum deposit. But we've had people that, like, hey, I want leads 9 a.m. They have 3 appointments by 5 p.m. Like, our systems are just different, and that's kind of what we're all about. So if you like this video, if you found value in it, please check out TwineSpot.com. Go through the process, schedule a call with me. I can answer any of your questions, and we can get you kind of on that offer that we really believe is a no-brainer for solar pros, which is, if you spend $500 on leads and we give you 10 leads minimum, worst case scenario, you spent $500 on crappy leads. Best case scenario, you found a leads provider that is going to be able to scale with you and make adjustments on the fly. So that is what TwineSpot is about. This video call and presentation has been an attempt to help our customers as well as other people to improve their appointment setting process, to understand it better, to have more success, so they can increase their answer rates, so they can increase their appointment setting rates, so that when they get to the close, they're going to have more people to close. They can keep the same exact close rate, and they're going to have more money in their pocket each and every month. And then because you understand leads and you understand acquisition costs, you're going to be able to forecast and scale and project forecastable results that are predictable, and then you can really start to grow your business with online leads, which I think more solar pros should do. So that's what we believe. We believe it's ridiculous that you're making thousands of dollars per sale and your acquisition cost could be as low as $1,000 and you're not investing in leads. That's crazy to me, but the reason is just because there hasn't been the right solution until now, and we believe that we're that. So I appreciate your guys' time. Check it out if you have any interest in that. And until next time, this is Kyle Thumm, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.